Welcome to this podcast. Is making me thirsty, the number one destination for Seinfeld fans. This episode 86. Today's guest has appeared in several TV shows and films. You've seen her in The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, Grace Under Fire, the 1999 film You're Killing Me, the 2018 film Bayou Caviar, and of course, she played Kramer's unforgettable back-scratching girlfriend, Olive, in the classic season 5 episode of Seinfeld, The Pie. Please welcome Sunday Theodore. Sunday, thanks for joining.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Awesome.
So Sunday, take us back, right? So The Pie aired February 17th, 1994. I'm assuming you tried out, late 1993 for this episode. Give us a little, tell us about the audition process and how this whole role came about for you being Olive.
Yeah, sure. So it was actually 94. It was right before, probably a few days before we actually started. And I got a call from I had done a few episodes of Grace Under Fire. And Mark Hirschfeld, he called me in for it. So he was great. He seemed to like me and call me in a lot. So I was very happy. And I didn't know much about the show. I knew it was huge, but that was great. And I had moved to Los Angeles from New York in 93. I guess it was pilot season. My agent brought me to, he got on a plane and brought me to LA and stayed with me until I found a roommate. He was amazing. He was the best agent in the world and believed in me. So anyway, this other guy was my other agent in LA, and he said, you have an audition for Seinfeld. Go at tomorrow. I think it was, yeah. So I had gone to Malibu that day before and went over my lines and everything. And then I went in. It was a nighttime audition because I know it was dark. And I walk in the room and everybody's there. So everybody's in this room in a circle. You have, not everybody. I know Jerry was there. Maybe Meg or Mark Hirschfeld, Meg Lieberman, maybe, I can't remember who was in, but right. The room was filled. Right. It was a small room. And I was nervous. And I go in and I do my reading. I thought it was pretty good. And then they go, can we talk to you? Can we ask you a few questions? And I was like, yeah, sure. And they said, they started talking about my name, and Jerry was next to me. And he said, were you born on a Sunday? I said, no, Wednesday, but they couldn't spell it. And I kind of said it under my breath. And he was like, nobody heard me because everybody was talking. He's like, did you hear what she said? She's really funny. And I was like, because I kind of said it nonchalantly. And then he repeated it and everybody kind of laughed. And I kind of knew I got the part after that. Everybody was funny and nice. And then I guess we started right away, I think a couple days later. And you know what, I to have dates. Okay. So it must have been maybe a week later that we started. And I went in and everybody was super nice. Everybody was welcoming. They all said hi. They introduced themselves. And I remember going up then Michael Richards came up to me and he said, wait, was this after the table read? I think we did the table read first. And yeah, and then we got to break off and do whatever. So when we went in for the table read, I had an accent at first, right. My character, but I don't think it was that.
Who did you?
I don't think it was.
Did you base that character on someone that you like the accent and the way she acted and that sort of thing? Like, curious where that came from, like the inspiration for her.
Well, I had met Fran Drescher,
Okay.
like the day before. And she walked into the room and her voice wouldn't get out of my head. She was like, Sunday, oh my God.
Right.
This is my dog. And I was like, oh my God, she's beautiful. And her voice just wouldn't get out of my head. And I always like to have like a role model to base my characters on.
Right.
So I was like, okay, you know what? I'm going to go for it in the table reads. So
so you didn't use that accent in your audition?
Not that pronounced. I don't think I did.
Right. So you just went for,
I think it was a hint of it, but I don't think it was like that. I don't know. I can't remember.
Right.
So what did
years ago.
I know. So, Sonny, you mentioned flying in from New York. Were you just doing acting gigs in New York, or were you from New York?
Well, no. After college, I went to UF, studied acting, and then I moved to New York, and I did theater, and then I got an agent, and he kind of took me in, and he was amazing, and he brought me to LA.
So you got a call from Hirschfeld. So did your agent obviously had a relationship with him and saw some of your work?
My LA agent, they merged.
Right.
So he was a New York agent, and then he became my LA. The other guy became my LA agent. So
what did you know? I mean, Olive is such a interesting character. I mean, what did they tell you ahead of time? I know you said you had the script, but did they give you no direction other than what was kind of?
No, and I think that's, I mean, the beauty of the show. I don't know, they didn't really give me any direction. They kind of just let you be an actor. And I remember the table read. I tried a line because you never know if you don't do it good, you could be gone. Because everyone on every set I've ever been on, somebody's gotten fired, and I have no idea why, or it's just you could say the line wrong, or who knows, and somebody's replaced. I remember the girl who was Poppy's daughter got replaced, the original one. So, and she had done another episode.
Suzanne Snyder,
she was in the limo.
Yeah. So, so we do the table read, and everybody laughed when I did the accents. I was like, oh, okay. So I went for it. It's always a risk, but and that was good. And then everybody kind of broke off and did their thing. And Michael Richards came up to me and he was like, let's go. Do you mind rehearsing? I was like, no, I love that. I love to rehearse, because I've been on so many shows where people are like, no, we just do it live or whatever. And I was like, oh my God. So I loved that he loved to rehearse. And he was, so originally I said to him, when's your birthday? Because I ask everyone their birthday, because I need to know their sign, like where they're coming from and everything. So he said, well, what do you think I am? And I said, well, I don't know. I don't know you. I'd have to ask you a million questions. And he said, well, we have a lot of time. So, so I think I asked him over a million questions. I know everything about the guy, everything. And he was so open, and he was so just raw and answered everything. Just, we got along really well. And he loved to rehearse, so we must have done it 100 million times too. And he'd work out all his things, and he took me to lunch, and he just couldn't have been nicer.
We have heard that a bunch with Michael Richards. That's awesome to hear. Yeah, everyone we've talked to, and you had that. I mean, you had some. Your scenes were physical with him too, as well. With the back scratching and him laughing, and like. He's known for the physical comedy, so I'm sure the rehearsals really helped there as well. I'm assuming those were fake nails when you were scratching his back.
Oh my gosh, yes. I didn't know how the whole thing was going to go. So I think it was okay. So during our episode, I have the they signed my script. Everybody signed my script.
Oh, very cool.
I have the breakdown of how it went. So on Thursday was the table read, January 13th. And then we rehearsed on January 16th, a Sunday. And then the earthquake happened.
Right. Yeah. That's right.
The 94 earthquake. And I remember I couldn't sleep anyway, because it was like my second or third day. I was like so excited, like, nervous. And I called my agent and I said, he goes, "You okay?" And I said, well, I just have to get ready. He's like, "No, you're not going to work." And I go, "Yeah, I can't get fired. I have to go." And he's like, "No, there's no set." And I said, "Are you sure?" And he said, "Yeah, it's destroyed. You're going to be off for a while." And I was like, "Oh, really?" He said, "Yeah." So when we all came back, I think everybody kind of bonded, and what happened, and it was a traumatic kind of experience everyone went through. Sure. And so we didn't go back until February 4th. So from January 16th, we had to get the set rebuilt to January 4th, which was a Friday. And then we rehearsed and had a run through. And then Monday, the 7th, we blocked and shot the car scene. That we did on tape, just the car scene. And I guess I made all the like, all those when he broke my heart, out the window. Yeah, that was pre-done. So that was done then. And then Tuesday we shot. So Monday, Tuesday, yeah.
So Tuesday you were on set for the whole taping, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean that was.
I have to tell you about the nails. I forgot.
So, tell us about the nails.
So, I was like, "Do I have to get my nails done?" And they're like, I don't remember who said. They're like, "Yeah, you got to get your nails." I said, "Is somebody going to do them?" And they're like, "No, I think you got to go get them done." I was like, "Well, where do I go?" I didn't know LA very well. And then Jason Alexander said, "Oh, my wife goes to this place on La Cienega or Melrose and go to this place." And I was like, "Okay, how do I get there?" And so I went and I just said, can you give me? Nobody said anything. Nobody told me how long.
That they didn't.
Nothing. So I'm like, "Do I have to pay for it?" And they're like, "Well, I guess." And I was like, "Okay, whatever." So I go to this place. I said, "Give me the really long nails." And that's when the next day the earthquake happened. I was just in a hurricane.
And you just got the nails put on?
And I just got them on. And I remember I was like, "What am I going to do with these things? I'm stuck with these things forever." I remember I was driving an Alfa Romeo. It was an old car, and I had the seatbelt, just the lap seatbelt,
right? And
I couldn't get out of the car. I was like, "How am I going to get out?" I couldn't push the seatbelt in, and I was taking like pens and trying to shove it in. Anyway, I was stuck with these awful things forever.
That's pretty funny that you got all prepared.
And the number one show on television made you go get your own nails.
Yeah, where Jason Alexander's wife goes, I'm sure was a pretty penny too.
I don't know. It was just some nail place. So I had I don't even know. Yeah. Anyway, but nobody gave much direction about anything. Like, I had my makeup done. I did my hair. I did my makeup. I pretty much wore what my character would wear. So they didn't need to dress me or anything. I knew my character, and they trusted me that.
What about the gum? I mean, you were constantly chewing. Like, was that direction from Larry David or the director?
I always chewed gum back then. It was watermelon bubblicious too, because it would always hold the flavor. But I don't know. I always chewed gum, so my character chewed gum. I don't know why nobody said anything. Larry David, actually, he said, he told me that every character is based on somebody they knew.
Yeah, that's what I read, right? Go ahead.
Yeah, so he said, there's this girl who works at Jerry's Diner, and she has really long nails, and she used to get the change with a long spoon, like a. So I was like, oh, that's great. I don't know if it read on camera. I don't even know if they did that. If I did it then, I don't know. But I was like, oh, okay. So that was direction. Oh, and they changed the line. They get at the last, right before we were taping, I think Larry David said, oh, you know what? Say, why is she wearing her underwear? And I was like, really? He goes, yeah, yeah, that's funny. And I go, okay, well, why is she wearing her underwear? So,
he threw that in during the shooting. Like that line was given to you during the shooting.
Yeah, I think so, or right before it, maybe that early that afternoon.
Right.
Yeah, we shot
They're writing right up to the end, like just to make everything perfect. That's really funny because that's a great line.
And everyone was so I don't know. I didn't get much direction. Everybody was just so nice and trusting, and Jerry. I remember Jerry being very involved in the direction of everything and how it was being shot. But I didn't really pay attention to any of that because I was just with Michael, and it was just our thing. And yeah.
Yeah.
So.
It sounds like you had a special connection with Michael Richards, which was great. Anything else? I mean, a funny scene I remember is you're in. I can always picture you just chewing the gum, but the scene where George comes in with the swish. Do you remember that scene?
Mm-hmm.
And you're just at the cashier register, and he's just swishing. Like, I always wondered, like, was the suit actually swishing, or was that like dubbed in? Do you remember? It was only 30 years ago.
It was only 30 years ago.
Yeah. I think it's. Gosh, I can't remember. Did it swish?
But there's just
maybe
any other like funny moments.
Sound.
Yeah, any other funny moments from the show or people you hung out with that you recall? I know the scene with Julia comes in right after you saw her in her underwear and you gave her that kind of that look,
So
you had interaction with all of them.
I did. Well, Julia, I think she was sick during that week, so she wasn't around really. But I mean, I've seen her on the lot, and she was always like, "Hi," and Jerry was just involved in the show. But I saw him after I shot. Okay, so when I think he likes brunettes, and
Jerry,
so,
yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, so we didn't really talk during the show very much. And I remember I was auditioning for the single guy, which was on the same lot, and he pulled over in his Porsche, and he came out and talked to me. And he was like, "So, what are you doing?" And I'm like, "What's your name?" And I'm like, "Sunday, I did your show." And he's like, "Oh," and
really,
but it was because I was brunette then. And
changed it, yeah.
That's why he pulled over. He pulled right over and he asked me out. And I had a boyfriend at the time, but
so wait, Jerry asked you out? He asked you out when you were a brunette?
Yes.
And after you said I did your show? Listen.
Yeah, no, before he pulled over and he was talking to me, and I was about to go in to audition, and I felt like I was on an episode of the show. It was surreal.
Well, listen, that's how some of the roles happen,
But this was after. After.
Yeah, this is exactly.
Yeah. And but gosh, what an honor to be on that show.
Yeah. So you mentioned that you didn't know much about. I mean, I knew you knew about the show. It was Thursday nights by the time you were on it. But were you a fan of the show? Like before you did the reading, did you know about the characters, or just very little?
Very little. No. I mean, not really. I knew of the characters. I think I saw a special on how great the show had become. It was, but I don't know that I actually had seen any episodes.
And do you? I'm assuming. I mean, you've done a lot of shows, but is Seinfeld the one that you probably get recognized the most for as Olive?
Well, it's the most notable. I don't know that I get recognized. one person in a parking lot stopped me and said, "Are you Olive?" But I don't know that anybody recognizes me.
I'm curious about the delay from the earthquake and how that did that affect anything as far as like your shooting schedule? Did anyone feel like we're backed up now? Was there any talk of that, or was it just like everyone's okay, everything's rebuilt, let's pick
No,
off?
it was so, and it was so nice. No, they're so professional, and they're so. I mean, it was run like I'd never been on a set that was run so tight and so professional. And everybody, I remember when we were shooting, looking at everybody, and everybody was in their like places behind the curtain, ready to go out and just, in their zone. And
Right.
I thought, wow, they're good. They're like professional, and they're not, it's not like you're there all night because nobody knows their lines. Everybody hit it. Everybody was like, took it so seriously. And it was a joy.
Nice.
Being from a theater background and having that experience, and then, this is how a professional show runs. It was
Right. I mean, they picked you for a reason too. I mean, like that's the guest stars are huge. We always say, I mean, it's the reason why it was the greatest show ever. It's because they pick the guest stars and they trust them. How creepy was that mannequin? Did it really look? I mean, it comes across looking like Elaine on TV.
I didn't know
in real life.
I didn't know anything about the episode or before.
Oh, really?
So I didn't really, it was like my own, and it worked for the character because I didn't know anything except that, I liked him. And I don't know. So when I shot I didn't really even see the mannequin or anything until after that it aired. So I knew I was looking at it.
Oh, you knew you were looking. I got you. Because you were just doing those reaction shots.
Yeah. I don't know that I even grasped or understood what was going on.
Right.
When I do a character, I kind of I'm in my own little zone, and I don't grasp the whole script or anything. So
yeah, you probably looked at the script, saw it had mannequins, people not washing their hands, probably a little sloppy. You're probably, what am I getting into here? But I mean, you killed it. Like I couldn't picture anyone else except you as Olive. Like you were just, and you could tell that you and Michael Richards had that chemistry. Like it really showed on screen. So you should really be proud of that.
Oh, well, thank you. I loved it. I loved the whole experience of it.
So it was a great experience. So we hear a lot about, were you at the season 5 wrap party?
Yeah, it was actually at the Griffith Observatory.
Yep.
And, where they filmed Rebel Without a Cause.
Yeah.
I had never been up there before. So it was really cool. Oh, and I remember during actually one day, Larry David was actually, he was there. We were just talking, and we talked for a long, long time. And I think we were talking about a sign, of course. And then, and then he told me how I looked like, he said, "Where do you live?" And I said, we were talking about New York. He asked where I lived in New York. And I said, I live downtown. He goes, "You look like a downtown girl." And I'm like, "What does that mean?" And that went on for hours. It felt like, I didn't know. And then I said, "Well, what about in LA? Like, do I look like a downtown girl? Because I live kind of downtown." And he said, "No, you look like a valley girl." I look like a valley girl in LA? He goes, "Yeah."
So this is Larry David at the wrap party, just kind of.
No. This was during the show, and during the wrap party, I remember the AD had said, "He never talks to anybody, and he talked to you for like hours. Like he liked you." And I was like, "Oh, goody!" And he said, "We should make you his Kramer's girlfriend. And I said, oh, that's a great idea. But I don't know, nothing ever came of it. So, but it was nice that he said it.
Oh, the thought of you actually like becoming a recurring character.
Yeah.
Yeah,
like,
that would have been awesome.
We should do that. And I go, yeah. Yeah, let's do that.
I mean, at the end of the day, you were the cashier. It looks like you were splitting time in there with Ruthie Cohen, who was the
I met her at a party. Yeah, she was my friend's mother or something, and I think
really?
she was upset that I took her. I took her job for a day.
For a day, yeah.
I mean, she was in every episode basically, except for like.
I didn't know that because I had never seen it. I guess so. Yeah, but she was very nice at the party. She forgave me.
So and then from there, it sounded like you had a little extension of Seinfeld. Bill in Grace Under Fire, Bill Masters, who we had on the show, was a writer for Seinfeld and also wrote, I believe, your episodes in Grace Under Fire.
Maybe that's the connection. I'd done one episode, and then Brett Butler thought I was so cute, and she loved me, and she sent another script to my door and wrote me in another character. So that was
very
beautiful.
Cool.
So I got to do some fun characters, and through the years. And I hope there are many more.
Yeah, of course. I mean, that's we do too. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Best of luck Sunday.
Well, thank you guys so
much. Thank you,
much.
Sunday.
Such a pleasure to talk to you.
This was awesome. Have a good one. Thank you.
Bye-bye.